This is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green.
Ekabo, and welcome to the Ifagbemiro show. And as usual, we would open with prayer or libation. Omi Tutu, which means may the water be cool and refreshed. Ona Tutu, may our road and path be cool and refreshed. Ile Tutu, may our house be cool and refreshed. Tutu Laroye, may a calm messenger precede all our prayers. Oludumare, Ajuba, Bogbo, Iku, Embaleshe. God, we give homage, we salute the ancestors that sit at your feet in council. Oludumare, Ibaye Tonu. We give praise to the owner of existence and those that made sacrifices for life. Ibashe Olojo Ori, I call upon and give praise to the owner of this day. Ibashe Oronmila Ileri Ipin, Ibekeji Oludumare, I call upon and give praise to Oronmila, the witness of all choice of destiny, second to only Oludumare. Ibashe Obatala, Ibashe Oshetura, I call upon and give praise to the messenger of all prayers. Ibashe Ishu, Ibashe Ogun, I call upon and give praise to Ogun, the path opener. Ailu Babawa, deathlessness is the father of good character. Ibashe Onile, I call upon and give praise to the earth, that which supports us, the ancestors that support us when we walk in this world. Ibashe Olokun, I call upon and give praise to Olokun, the essence of all things that come from the sea. Ibashe O. I pay homage to the ancestors. May my homage be confirmed by Oludumare. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, and today, once again, we are still studying or examining the 8 essences of Ifa. I would like to read the 8 essences of Ifa. 1 is the spiritual essence. This relates to the place of man as a spirit in the cosmos, the powers of matter, and all aspects of ontological evolution and development. Divine essence. This relates to methods of divination and accessing esoteric information, the mechanism of divination and systematic methods of getting messages, and the interpretation. The religious essence, number 3. This relates to our faith, belief, catechism, and Ifa propagation or Ifagelism. 4. The worship and sacrificial essence. This relates to the meaning of worship, the importance of worship, sacrifices and acceptability of sacrifice, clearance of sacrifice, passage of sacrifice, and results of sacrifice. 5. The medicinal essence. This deals with the use of herbal plants for various healing. This is both in magical form and materialist medicine. The historical essence. Number 6. This looks at the history of creation, including the history of materialist, non-materialist, and the spirit world. The scientific essence. Number 7. This deals with the power of observation, axiomatics, astronomy, cosmology, cognitive and precognitive experience, astral science, physical science, logic, mathematics, natural science, and computer science. Number 8 is the cultural essence. This is what relates to rites, rituals, politics, socioeconomics, languages, dress, and normative value systems. All right. Last session, we were dealing with the Ori. The session covered quite a few areas that dealt with how to appease or how to pray to one's Ori. All right. And this week, we're going to do a brief session also on Ori. But today, what we are going to look at is some of the objects that are used in propitiation of the Ori and that is generally used for most any ritual associated to the Orishas. The first thing I want to talk about is Obi and Orogbo. These two fruits, or seeds if you wish to call them that, are considered to be sacred. They are two of the ritual objects that are always used in the appeasement of the Ori, and they are also used for divination. They are both associated with divinity, and they are also associated to long life. All right. I don't want to go into too much specifics concerning all of the symbolisms associated with the Obi and the Orogbo. But the Obi in particular, there are several Ifas that relates the relationship with Obi and the Ori in particular. Now, another ritual item that is used quite commonly is salt, right? The Yoruba word for salt is ayo, right? Salt, as we all know, is something that is very, very commonly used. And even in the past history, salt is something that was used as money or as currency. I would give a euphemism that is quite commonly used. You would hear professional people say that we want to see if somebody is worth their salt. That saying is in reference to salt being used as a person's salary. Even the word salary, SAL, the root word for salary, comes from the word salt. All right? The associated symbolism is that salt causes a person to be accepted in their community, as salt is something that is readily used and readily accepted in most communities. So the symbolism associated is for a person who uses the salt in rituals to be accepted by members of their very own community. All right. The next thing on the list is ofun, or what we call in English chalk or chalk powder. All right. Um, this comes from numerous sources and is quite widely used in rituals. The appearance of the use of this powder of whiteness normally is highly associated to spirituality. It is associated to Obatala, which has to do with the whiteness, the immaculateness, and it is also deeply associated to the ancestors. All right? This is considered to be indispensable in rituals associated to the Ori, right? The term that is used generally, you would hear the term Ibori, all right? And it is used so that no harm happens to a person, all right? So that they would have the protection combined with the purity of the ancestors and with the energy, of course, of Obatala. All right. Now, the next thing on the list is something that is commonly seen and used by a lot of spiritualists. This is called Ogede. In English, this would be bananas. All right. Um, Bananas are also associated to its use in what is called an adimu, which is an offering, right, that is offered to the ancestors. It's normally a non-blood offering, and some in some cases it may include some animal articles, but never blood. All right, bananas are generally used quite a bit for adimus, and it is also used as a general sacrifice. In some cases, it is associated with specific orishas. I would give one example would be it is associated to Oshun. All right. And the symbolisms associated to bananas is that it makes your way easier. Or in some cases, even if you want to say sweet and pleasant. All right. All right. The next thing on the list we would look at is irike, or in English, sugar cake. All right. Sugar cane, sorry, not sugar cake, but sugar cane. Irike is sugar cane. And this is associated to having a similar function as honey. All right. And it is known to feed negative forces that would otherwise thrive on individuals. Okay. So we all know sugarcane is associated to some degree to a lot of the plantations in the Caribbean to the production of sugar. So it is something that involves, it's very labor intensive and it involves a lot of hard work. All right. So maybe the energy, the vibes, the frequency associated to it does remove negativity. All right. Agbon cocoa, which is ripe cocoa, all right, is associated, it's a symbol that represents long life, similar to that of the Orogbo. It represents longevity, all right. Um, Agbado, funfun, fufu is white corn in English, all right, and this is used for harmony, for unity, as well as for peace, all right, and this is prepared several ways, including boiling it, all right, and in the case it is boiled, it is prepared or poured over it is honey and palm oil, all right. Ikuru is yam cooked with the peel and kneaded by hand, and it is divided into two. One part is seasoned with palm oil or ikuru pupa, and the other part is made pure without seasoning. That is referred to as ikuru fufu. All right. The association and the symbolism of this is that it keeps away serious diseases. All right. The next thing on the list is akara, right? Which is something that is prepared from what we call black eyed peas. So in the West here, we have a tradition where we normally eat black eyed peas on New Year's. This may very well be the association that we have. Like, for example, it's called akara, but in Trinidad, what we have is something called akra, which is also associated to the same akara. Now, akara is used to attract a lot of prosperity and a lot of money and to appease the ire of the forces that opposes the person. All right, so now for those who know that we eat black eyed peas, at New Year's Eve, coming into New Year, it is to invite prosperity. All right, now iwa is black beans, which is used cooked and seasoned. All right, ayu, which is yam, is cooked without the peel and sometimes it is sliced into pieces. All right, igbi or igbin is snail, which has a very soothing effect on the ori. It is related to docility, tranquility, and peace, and it is offered at times when peace is needed. The slow and careful and firm movement of the snail prevents them from shocks and confusions between them. It offers or aims to rid you of dangers of all kinds. On the list next is Shejiaro, which is catfish. All right, and this one is the catfish that walks on its head. All right, which is related also to what we know as the mudfish. This symbolizes the tranquility and peace, alleviating pain and disturbance. It makes people live well and overcome the problems that hinders their progress. Siele, which is pigeon. Pigeons that are white are used in the ritual of Ibori. Both male and female are indispensable. the sacrifice of a pigeon will feed the forces that feed on a person's suffering. All right. Next, we have a kuko, which is chicken. And in this case, it would be a male or a cock, a rooster. All right. Then we also have a guinea fowl, right? And this bird is used to bring a lot of luck. We have pepoye, which is piaye, which is duck. All right. We have odikre, which is a sacred bird that is used for kings only. We have iwere, which is goat. We have agutan, which is sheep. We have agbo, which is a ram or Aries. All right. Um, I wouldn't go into the usage of some of these, but I'm just mentioning different ritual materials that I used. Again, I'm just reiterating that. You have ipo pupa, which is palm oil. You have oti, which is gin. You have oyin, which is honey. You have omi, which is water, right? Sometimes money is used, right? And sometimes particular forms of feathers are also used. All right, so these are some of the material that are used or associated in various rituals, but in this case, we are particularly speaking about the Ori, an appeasement of the Ori. All right. Um, Last week we spoke about the Ori. We spoke about Ajala. We spoke about the role of Obatala in blessing the heads. We talk about Ajala, the one who molds the Ori. And we also mentioned the fact that all human beings go before Oludumare before choosing their Ori. And the Ori that they choose is generally their guide to the fulfillment of their destiny. Because Ori also translates into English, one of the terms it translates into, beside head and inner head and spirit, it also translates to destiny. All right? Your Ori Inu, or the inner head, is different from your heart. Why is it necessary to say that? Because in traditional society, when we talk about thinking, it is normally associated to the heart, right? Because again, I mentioned this in an interview some time back that the human heart has a section of it that has tissues that are similar to that of the human brain. So the functioning of the human heart, to some degree, is associated to some sort of intelligent guidance that it receives from a part of its own organ. All right? So there is a relationship between the head and the heart, but it must be made clear that the Ori is not the heart. It is two separate functioning organs, physical and spiritually. Aya is the physical chest, while Okan is the heart. The Aya cannot be separate from Okan, just as the physical head cannot be separate from the inner head. That is the Ori Inu. Now, in relation also to the Ori is Iwa Rere, or good character. Some people say Iwa Pele, but Iwa Pele is a gentle character. Iwa Rere is having a good character. Iwa Rere Leso Inia Obiri sowa nuoni ohun kolori oko, which means or translates the good character is precious to good life. A woman did not have good character and she is complaining that her head has not chosen a good husband for her. As I said, Iwa is good character. You see the Odu Ifa I sent just now, which speaks for what Iwa stands for in your life. Just as Yoruba people believe in Ori, that is how they also believe in Iwa. We chose Ori from heaven, and on earth we choose our Iwa. We have two types of Iwa. One is Iwa Rere, which I just explained is good character, and two is Iwa Buburu, which is bad character. You are free to choose either one. However, whosoever choose bad character has been doomed on earth and in heaven, says Ifa. Orisha, the host of heaven, have such people who choose bad character on earth. Bad character is not a destiny. You can change it because it is what you chose on earth. Even if you chose good Ori, your hands and legs lead you to the right path, and your Aya choose the best friend for you. If you don't have good character, Ifa says, both heaven and earth, we vomit the person out, and the person will be condemned. Whosoever behave bad, such people die in the hands of Orisha, like Ogun, Shango. And if you betray your friend, Igungun and Mother Earth would punish such person. The story of Iwa. Iwa was the wife of Oronmila. She is a woman. Iwa lived with Oronmila, but she is such a dirty woman who don't know how to care for herself nor her husband. Oronmila sent her out of his home. Iwa was angry, and she returned back to Olodumare in heaven. Iwa is the daughter of Suru, which in English means patience, who is the son of Olodumare in heaven. When Iwa returned to heaven, the life of Oronmila turned upside down. No more food, no more people to see him, and when people see Oronmila, they run away from him. Life became unpleasant for him. He returned back to heaven to beg Olodumare to return Iwa back to him. If you lose Iwa, you have lose your life. When Oronmila meet Iwa at Oludumare's house, he begs Iwa to follow him down to earth, but Iwa declined and refused to follow Oronmila. Iwa told Oronmila to return back to earth and use his hand to repair his bad character. Since then, Iwa remained in heaven and never returned back to earth. That is why I said, earth, that on earth, who chose the type of character we want. All right, so by this essay, Ifa, it is important for us to know that having good character or Iwariri is a very important part for our Ori and also for us to fulfill our destiny. And this concludes today's show. And I would like to thank everyone for viewing. And I would remind all the viewers that they can Join us each Friday for the Ifa Orisa discussions with Baba Iwaliwa, or you can join us on Sunday also, where we have the traditional herbal health show with Iante, PhD. All right, and with this, I would like to say Oda Bo and see you next week.